Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Mind Your Puckin' Business with your host, Jeffrey Krensman.
Thank you, Dougie Sticks. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Coming to you, as always, from the beautiful studios of Undefeated Media here in a rainy Bergen County, New Jersey.
Thank you.
This is the Mind Your Puckin' Business podcast, brought to you, as always, by our good friends at the Bamboozle Project. We thank them, of course, for sponsoring us.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate them for having our gear on the website, which I know more people have ordered. And I don't know for a fact, but I will hope that they use promo code MYPB, which
smart.
is now across your screen. And it actually looks like it's in different font across the screen.
Yeah, I don't know why the colors changed, but hey, we're blue today.
We're blue
To
today
match with the blue sky and the clouds.
because we are about the Broadway Blue Shirts, the Rangers.
yes.
And that is 25% off your promo code MYPB. So check them out at the Bamboozle Project. This is episode number 71. For those of you on the Spanish dial today, that is 71. 71 as we get up there. My daughter actually asked me the other day randomly if we had episode 100 yet. So we're getting there. We're close.
Wow,
We're getting there.
Something special.
I think episode number 100 we'll do like some special things. Maybe B-Rock will come out, right? What do you think, B-Rock?
Yeah. Maybe we'll go like live somewhere, like
TS Ma.
Boom.
There we go. We'll do
I wasn't gonna push it on you, but yes.
Well, maybe we'll do it. We'll get to that. We got to figure. You got 29 more weeks, give or take. Summer, we're not always here, so it will probably happen in the fall. Probably around the fall, fall,
like
winter. Well, we'll think of something for episode
special.
number 100. You can send your questions at any time, of course, to mypbshow@gmail.com, which is now across your screen. However, on top of that, we are going to cover a lot of Ranger questions today. We had a plethora, and I mean plethora, big vocab word,
Wow.
of questions submitted in the last day on our Instagram page about the Rangers, and we're going to cover them today. So I thank all of you guys out there. When you have questions, you actually listen and you send them in.
Yeah.
And we're going to do our job today.
Absolutely.
And answer them. And while we're answering them, you can hear the answers on either YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or Facebook, where you find us.
Absolutely.
Right?
Everywhere
and anywhere. Yeah, we'll have to get, that episode 100 thing will be interesting. We'll have to pick a spot.
Yeah.
Like of significance.
Like a rooftop. Or like
I know where you would want to go.
Or TS Ma.
A rooftop. Well, I will actually be at the event, the rooftop event tonight.
Oh, it's at the roof tonight.
Well, I don't know if it's on the roof there,
but it's at this place. Yes.
It's at that spot tonight. Yes. I'm going to assume it's not on the roof because it's raining.
Yeah. I don't think they opened the roof yet.
Yeah. And you know what? It's a little cold too.
Yeah.
Cold and rain probably doesn't work. But all right. So now I know I saw on some social media stuff in the last week and a half, there was some March Madness going on here in the studio, what you guys were doing.
Yes.
But did you pay attention to the actual tournament as well?
Absolutely. So I'll give you a quick little, it was nothing special, nothing crazy, if you will. So what I did was I did a post saying we're going to give out free month of our services at Undefeated Media. You can nominate your own business or a friend's business. So a number of businesses put their Instagram handles in there. And then we did a whole process where we had ping pong balls and we shook them all up and we matched each one of those businesses with a March Madness team.
Okay.
And then the team that won was matched up with a business, and that business won.
Now, do we know who had Kansas?
Yes.
Are we allowed to say?
Melissa Wellness and Beauty. So she takes like the wellness aspect of like yoga and Reiki and like the wellness and centering yourself aspect of life and matches it up with her salon with cutting hair and stuff. So it's like an experience.
So congratulations to her.
Yeah, she's going to get the 1 month of free services.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We'll see her here in the studios then in passing.
Absolutely.
What did you think of the tournament itself? Did you like it this year? Did you not like it?
I thought it was good this year. I was rooting for St. Peter's. St. Peter's against North Carolina, great defense. Couldn't put the ball in the net. That was disappointing. And I did want a storybook ending. If it wasn't going to be St. Peter's, I was rooting for Duke for that storybook ending. I like to have the storybook ending.
Got it. I was thinking, and I have not seen this written anywhere, or so maybe I'm wrong. B-Rock, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think in this entire tournament there was ever a game where there was a buzzer beater. Was there, where someone hit a shot at the buzzer?
No, I don't even.
Right?
There was maybe one overtime.
There was some overtimes. There was the game in the first round, Miami USC. USC had a chance to win it on a 3, and it went in and out. But I can't remember. Am I right? There was not. I don't remember any tournament. Well, I shouldn't say that. There probably have been tournaments in the past, but I don't think there was one single buzzer beater. Which I think if you played Family Feud and you took a survey and said, what do people like most about March Madness? And there would be a lot of different reasons. I think the buzzer beater aspect would be number one. And we didn't have that.
A lot of close games.
A lot of close games. That's not to say it was a bad tournament, but you never had the buzzer beater. You never had the back and forth overtime battle game. There was a couple in there, but it just, I don't know. I mean, look, I loved it. It was great. If March Madness was if there was an April Madness, I'd be into it. So I'm not getting on it. And I'm just saying that there wasn't a kind of storybook, finish to a game with a buzzer beater. And the storybook ending, I agree with you. I am not a Duke fan. I found myself in the last 2 weeks for some unknown reason, kind of rooting for them.
Yeah.
Because as I've looked, and again, I don't like Coach K. I've never been a real big fan of his.
Yeah.
But as I've watched a lot of the clips on him that have been out in the last couple of weeks, and it's nauseating too how much it's been, the retirement tour. But I mean, you kind of do get a sense of his impact, not only on the game of basketball, but on the game of what are children, really, 18 to 22-year-olds that are going to college or away from home for the first time in their life. So I was kind of found myself semi-rooting for Duke, but when they lost the other night to North Carolina, I also wasn't losing sleep over it. But at least it put, so it can't, congratulations to the Kansas Jayhawks and Bill Self.
True. I mean, they definitely earned it. They were down 20 points.
Yeah.
And came back.
They were down actually in the Elite. I'm sorry, the Elite 8 when they played Miami. They were down, I want to say like 8 or 10 at half there too.
Wow.
Came back and torched Miami in the second half. And then on Monday night, what was it, 40 to 25 at halftime or something like that? They were down 50. It was the biggest comeback from a halftime deficit in the finals of March Madness. So that's all you need to see. I don't know.
76 to 50, the game finished off at. So they were down the first half.
They were down 15 and a half. Right.
Came
and
out.
It's similar to what happened in the Miami game. So the Miami game, they won, as I see it up on the screen here in the studio, they won that game by 26. So they had an over 30-point positive differential in the second half.
Wow.
Similar to, again, the other day, they had about a 20-point positive differential. Now, I don't know if it's Bill Self making adjustments at halftime and he's that good of a coach or what, but there's something with Kansas in the second half. So if you're into gambling, which we may or may not be on the show, I'm not going to say, next year, I hope when you look at the halftime lines that come out at halftimes, take Kansas given the couple points they give because they're obviously a second half team. So congratulations to the Kansas Jayhawks. And that wraps up college basketball season. So yesterday I decided we hadn't done it in a while. I was going to put out on our Instagram pages that we have, and there's a bunch of them. There's a couple of the Ranger pages I run too. What questions do you have? And sometimes we get, a decent response. Sometimes we get a lot of people. Sometimes we get a couple people. Yesterday we had a lot. So I want to spend a good amount of time. I'm going to try and get to them all. I've kind of condensed some questions in with other questions. I want to make sure we get to a lot because if you're going to spend the time and we appreciate that you do this and read our stuff and listen to us, I want to get your questions answered. So
absolutely.
You must be excited because you get to answer Ranger questions.
Let's go.
You've got your thinking hat on, I can tell. You have to get another Kombucha. What are you drinking over there today?
Oh, so today we have a little Starbucks Frappuccino, cold brew, whatever, mocha. So Starbucks versus Dunkin' today.
I am so consistent that in all 71 episodes, I've had a Dunkin' Donuts iced tea.
Shake it up. Try some new things.
You never know. I'm not saying neither of us are right or wrong. I'm just saying the difference between the two.
Tried and true is good, and exploring is also good.
Yes. All right. So some questions that we've got submitted to us. The first question, and it's combined with a couple other actually, was what was the better trade for the Rangers to date, Frank Vetrano or Andrew Kopp from Winnipeg? Right, these are the two kind of, I don't want to say big names that they got at the trade deadline, but out of the names, the minor moves that they made, I would say would be the bigger names that came from it. Look, they both have had great success in 2 weeks here, so I'm not going to sit here and declare a winner. All I'm going to say is this: when you look at what Chris Drury gave up to get these players, including Justin Braun from Philadelphia, who scored his first goal as a Ranger last night against the Devils. Nice. If you look at what he gave up, which was really nothing but like a 4th round pick, you have to say it's a winning winning fit as well. Vetrano is going to be interesting, and Kopp, both of them really, because it's really how they are in the playoffs. When you are Chris Drury 3 weeks ago, and we go back to the trade deadline, and you're making any move, you're not making that move for the Devil game on April 5th. You're not making that move for the Pittsburgh game on April 7th. You're making that move for the playoffs in May. So really, these trades, even though we want to sit here and declare how great of a trade they were after 2 weeks, you know what? If these players don't play well in the playoffs, they're not going to be a good trade. So yes, they're off to a good start, but grading these trades is a marathon and not a sprint. It's not how they do right now, and we would like to see them do well, and they have, but it's more what they're going to bring to the table for the Rangers in the month of May when the playoffs start. And Justin Braun, who was basically a sixth defenseman, who's a rugged guy. He's not really a goal scorer, even though, as I just mentioned, he scored last night. Is going to be he's a playoff guy. They got a guy like that. He's a gritty player who will be physical and all that. That was gotten for the playoffs. So we cannot grade these trades yet. What is wrong with Igor Shesterkin?
Wait, before you,
Yes.
just a quick question attached to that. These trades that we made, are they going to be free agents? Are these rentals, or are we going to have them for multiple years?
Some are free agents and some are rentals. But I think they're confident, like with Vetrano, from what I've heard, they're very confident they're going to be able to re-sign him. So, but even if they don't, here's the thing, and that's a good question. They didn't give up a lot to get them. So you don't want to give up a lot to get a rental and then have the rental leave. You didn't give up a lot to begin with. So I think if they walked away at the end of the day to give up a 4th round pick and a conditional pick here, it's not a huge deal. But I think there is some confidence that they're going to re-sign them.
Cool.
I don't want to say I took offense to this question that came in, because it's not the right word, and it's raining and I'm tired, so I can't think of the word I want to use, so I'm going to use it, but it's not accurate to this question. What is wrong with Igor Shesterkin?
Nothing.
You laughed over there. I heard you right. Even with the headset on, I heard him. All right, so let's talk about this. Igor Shesterkin has not in the last 6 weeks been all world that he has been. There is no athlete on this planet that is going to play at the level that Igor Shesterkin was consistently at all. I don't care if you want to go to the all-time greats, and B-Rock's going to get mad at me, at Marty Brodeur or Patrick Waugh. Yes, they were better goalies, but they never played at that pace consistently the entire regular season. It's impossible. And Igor has also played a lot of games, and he's still young. So I think what you're seeing here is a couple things. I think, one, it's impossible to play at that pace all the time, right? It's just, we would love him to. It's not possible. And that's a reason why goalies don't win the Hart Trophy in the league, rarely ever, as MVP of the entire league. And up until about a month ago, Igor Shesterkin was mentioned in the conversation to win the Hart Trophy. So it's not normal to play like that. The other thing as well is that he's also playing a lot of games, and it's going to catch up with him at some point. Now, you can sit here and say he's only on pace, I think it's to play 57 or 58 games or whatever it is, and that's fair. But what also needs to be said about Igor Shesterkin is he's young, right? Yeah. He's not a 28-year-old veteran here who's been through this before. He came in 2 years ago in the Corona season. In 2020, he made his debut in January of that year versus Colorado, played for 2 months, and then the league was shut down. And last year played in this, weird season of no fans, and you only have the special Corona division where they played 56 game season and then was out. So he's never been here for an 82 game season. This is his first crack at it. So it's kind of understandable. So do I think there's anything wrong with Igor Shesterkin? No, I don't. I just think he's human, and he's not going to play at that pace all the time. What you hope for is that pace comes back in about 4 weeks' time when the playoffs get started on May 2nd.
This is the perfect time for this to happen.
Correct.
You we made the playoffs. I assume we're locked in, getting a playoff slot. Let him have his little temper tantrum, and then we come back. Not temper tantrum, but let him have his little slump.
Regression.
Right.
And slump, here's the thing. Let him be human. Let him be human. Right. He's not playing at this all-world pace the last month, which, again, I don't necessarily think is not and it makes sense. So another question was last Tuesday, we haven't been on for 2 weeks, but last Tuesday, the Rangers had a pretty big game in Pittsburgh. I was actually on an airplane coming back from Texas, so I missed it. I was trying to follow it on my phone, the plane Wi-Fi, which I don't recommend doing because it not really, doesn't really work.
Very frustrating.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. But I did watch when I got home or no, actually the next day, Rangers in 60, which is this thing that MSG Network does, where they basically recap the entire game in 60 minutes. So you don't have to like watch the stoppages of play.
Yeah.
So I did watch it. And so the question was, how big was that win on the road in Pittsburgh? Look, it's a 2-point win. It doesn't cost any more. I understand where the question's coming from, which is to say, look, right now the Rangers are 2-3 with Pittsburgh, and they're probably going to meet in 3 weeks in the playoffs. And on top of that, they're fighting for this, they're 4 points apart. So it's a big win to win on the road in Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's a big win, but I don't put a ton of stock in it. Here's the other thing. When the playoffs come, because this is really, I think, where this person, like the core thought process is about that question, is, well, hey, if we beat Pittsburgh on the road and we play them in a couple weeks in the playoffs, does it mean we can do it again? It means nothing. But once the playoffs start, it's a whole other season.
No, and there's so much psychological in that. Like, they were saying it with them when we were talking about March Madness. They were saying how, North Carolina beat Duke last time they played on Mike's last home court game, that like that was incentive and to win it again. So like that means nothing. If anything, like, it would help them be pissed off when they meet us in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's not. And you know what? And they play again tomorrow night at Madison Square Garden here in New York. So they play each other 4 times during the year. But when we get to the playoffs, if that's who they play, we don't know that for sure. And we're going to get into that in a minute. Those 4 games mean nothing. So, but it's a good win on the road. But to answer your question, it's just the 2 points. The same thing as last night's win at the Prudential Center against the Devils. So last night, I'm watching the game with my son.
Yeah.
We didn't go to this game as we did 2 weeks ago when they played at the Rock. And I said to him, Tyler, you know who's been terrible? And he said, who? And I said, Filipino. And he kind of said, he scores sometimes. I said, okay. And then I kid you not, like 20 minutes later, someone submits a question. What do you want to do with Filipino? Why is this? I'm like, thinking like maybe my son has an Instagram account in the other room and he submitted the question that I don't know about. Look, so telling you the story of what I said to my son last night, I am certainly concerned. Now, I can find some Ranger fans that I deem very knowledgeable that say to me, I'm not concerned about Filipino. He's young. He just hasn't hit his physical progression yet, yada, yada, yada. I want them to be right. I really do. But I'm not betting the house on it. I have not seen with Filipino any real reason to think that he is going to be the player as to where he was drafted. Filipino, if I am not mistaken, and I will confirm this for you right now, it was drafted in the first round. I'm pretty sure he was. Filipino, yes. So Filipino was a first round draft pick. Now, if you're going to tell me that Filipino has shown you in the years he's been here that he has lived up to being 21st overall in the 2017 draft, I don't know what you're smoking, because he hasn't been. So I am concerned about Filipino. I would like to think that some of these people who are not are going to be right, but I am concerned.
Would you get anything for him if you traded him?
I think the value. So and that's a good question, and here's why. Because if you are of the mindset where you agree with me that he's not going to be who you think you would like him to be, every year you hold on to him, the value goes down and down.
Yeah.
So it's a decision that they got to make sooner than later. So in the offseason, would I be necessarily shocked if Filipino was moved somewhere else? No, I would not. And then if you're another general manager in the league other than Chris Drury, I mean, I could make an argument that I want to take a flyer on Filipino. He was a first-round draft pick. Maybe it just didn't work in New York. Maybe he goes to a smaller market team. I'm just throwing one out there. Nashville, for example, or Minnesota's not a smaller market, but a smaller market team, Winnipeg, something like that, and thrives there. But he has not shown me anything to make me think that he's going to, at the end of his career, be a guy and you say to yourself, you know what? I'm glad he should have been drafted 21st overall in the draft, because I haven't seen it. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. And Alexis Lafreniere, he's been playing moderately better, and he was our latest first round draft pick, correct?
Yes, Lafreniere has been a lot better this year, but again, I wasn't one that sounded the alarm on a coronavirus season where he never had a training camp in his rookie year and played in a weird season. He'll be fine. I'm not. Now Capo Caco is another one, and I'm surprised we didn't get any questions on him, because my son asked me about Capo Caco when he's coming back every day. Capo Caco is another one. I think something that's a little painful
Mm-hmm.
with Capo Caco is I saw something the other day that Jack Hughes at the Devils had his 57th point of the season, and Caco has 57 career total points.
Wow.
Yeah. And you think here's the other thing that's a little bit concerning about that as
Mhm.
well. Now, the Rangers didn't screw this up, right? It wasn't like the Rangers picked Kako instead of Hughes. The Rangers had no choice. It just shows the Devils probably got the pick right. But here's what's concerning about it. When you look at what Jack Hughes has played with in New Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
the cast of characters,
Yeah.
versus the characters, and Kako was on a line for some time with Strome and Panarin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jack Hughes has done more with less. And so that is concerning. But Capo Caco is another one that I would say this. Capo Caco will come back from an injury. I have no expectation for him in the playoff at all. I think he'll be there. Like maybe he'll score a goal here and there, but it's not going to be great. Next year, provided he is healthy, is an extremely important year for Capo Caco.
Yeah.
Like, to the point that when we have Dan Rosen on in October this coming year, as we get ready to launch the season, I will promise you there will be a question in there already. How important of a season is this for Capo Caco? Because it will be imperative that he shows improvement and is consistent.
He was a first round pick as well.
Yes, he was second overall. So the Devils had the first pick in 2019.
So here's a
And
question.
hold on, I'm going to throw Ranger fans under the bus here.
Uh-oh.
Because when the Devils got the number one pick,
Yeah,
I know plenty of Ranger fans, not myself. I didn't have an opinion either way. So I'm not saying I was right or wrong. I didn't even have an opinion. But I can name plenty of Ranger fans that said, oh, we want the Devils to take Hughes because we want Caco. I mean, what? First off, here's the other thing. Jack Hughes plays what position? He's a center.
Yeah.
Capo is a wing.
I had that answer.
Right. Well, okay. Well, good. I'm glad. Caco plays the wing. So just in positional need, you always take the center. And the center, I mean, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say a lot of the conversation we've had for the last 2 minutes has been basing around first round draft picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you was, and this is something I was talking about with someone, I forgot, it might have even been Brian, is in New York, and you can include Jersey, Devils, Rangers, Giants, Jets, Knicks. When has there been a legit good first round draft pick made? Generational talent that panned out.
B-Rock is saying Jack Hughes. And you know what? B-Rock has a very good chance of being right. But so from a hockey point of view, the Rangers, it never happens. Although, you know what? Lafreniere could be. He definitely could be. I actually, he certainly, I wouldn't bet the mortgage on it, but if you wanted to bet a substantial amount of money on it, I think that's a fair bet. Lafreniere will be.
Now, these look like these B plus, A minuses.
I'm going to give you another name.
These are not Zions, LeBrons, Wayne Gretzky's.
No. I know.
Tom Brady's.
I'm going to give you another name, and you know this hockey player. Okay.
Yeah.
He was first drafted overall. He was a first round draft pick, number 1 overall in the draft by a New York team. Who is he?
Number 1 over.
Think about your lacrosse days. John Tavares.
Oh, John Tavares.
Tavares. Now, John Tavares.
That was Islanders.
Right. But, I mean, it's still New York.
You stumped me. Islanders,
but, I mean, he then left. And can I say something totally random? Last night on my YouTube, I watched the video. Someone put up a video about John. I don't know. It was like 3 years after the fact.
Yeah.
Because it happened in February of 2019. With the first game John Tavares came back to play at Nassau Coliseum and how ruthless the crowd was. I actually watched it last night, which is funny. We're talking about it. But John Tavares, I don't want to say he's a generational talent, but I mean, he's certainly good. He's he's done well.
Yeah.
Let's think basketball, Patrick Ewing, but
that's the last.
Right. That's the point.
That's what I'm saying. We the Knicks especially suck.
Yes.
And they're not getting anything.
RJ Barrett will not be that player. He'll be good, but he's not going to be that. Baseball doesn't really draft. Football. You want to say Eli Manning? I'm not sure I'm buying that, even though he won 2 Super Bowls. I'm not putting him in that high.
He was a first round pick?
Yeah, he refused to play for San Diego.
That's crazy as well. Yes.
I mean, I would have rather. Odell was also, I think, a first, but I mean, he's not all time great, right? I mean,
yeah. he's
I'm gonna give
B,
you.
B plus level.
I'm gonna give you a
talent.
dumb answer. It's the most like boring answer, and I don't even know that it's the right answer. But like I could think of in 2004, I think it was when the Jets had the 4th overall pick and picked the Brickashaw Ferguson, who's a guy you wouldn't know, but he was great on the line for years. I mean, he's not a generational player, but he's an because he's an offensive lineman.
Yeah. I mean, the last good trade I think the Jets made where they got Le'Veon Bell, and that didn't pan out.
Well, that panned out for one game.
Yeah.
I mean, that
didn't pan out. Like, where, like, what are we doing? General managers, what are you doing in New York?
Well, the Knicks are going to get a lotto pick again because they've been officially eliminated this past week. So, you can bet that they'll screw it up. Although I have heard, unfortunately, the word on the street is that this year's NBA draft class is not as great as previous years. Doesn't mean there's not talent there, but it's not
we just watched March Madness. That's your pool.
Well, I believe one of the number one guys that projected to be the 1st overall pick is the guy from Gonzaga, the white dude with the mustache. Mean, I'm not sure, like, what? Yeah, Timmy something. I'm not sure, like, as a Knicks season ticket holder that I am. That's like
the St. Peter's guy with the mustache.
He's transferring. I read actually. Yeah, he's transferring. But like if you were a Knicks season ticket holder like myself, and you want a marquee name to come in to help sell tickets, like the year they could have had Zion and they didn't, I'm not sure that dude from Gonzaga gets me excited. I see we have a comment.
B-Rock. Kaka's ready to play with men.
Yes, we'll see. We shall see.
And then Brian said something about a bust. I don't know what that.
Well, that's got it. Probably Kako.
That was the follow-up.
So another question, the impact of Ryan Strom's return. So Ryan Strome came back last night. Ryan Strome scored in the first period, although he literally had the puck handed to him on a silver platter on a pass from Chris Kreider. Look, Strome being back is good, and I think this brings up another question that someone asked. We're going to combine into two, and that is the importance to figure out the lineup for the playoffs start in 3.5 weeks. You really need to be healthy. So Ryan Strome, God willing, now is healthy and is back in it. You hope Kakko, it sounds like, is back sometime in the next week. What they can't really do with Kaapo Kakko is they can't bring him back like the week of the playoffs and just think he's going to play in the playoff hockey, because he doesn't really have an experience with playoff hockey to begin with. So they need to solidify, and I agree with this person's point, the importance of figuring out the lineup. Now, the other thing is setting Igor's schedule and getting Georgiev serviceable for the playoffs. Because, look, if Georgiev is playing in the playoffs, it's a bad sign, right? In a perfect world, it's Shesterkin, and some more Shesterkin with a side of Shesterkin. But if the situation comes for whatever reason that Georgiev has to play, he's got to be ready. So the best way for him to get ready, and he was okay last night in the 3-1 win in New Jersey, although he didn't face a lot of high-quality chances, but he's got to get some games in. So
I say 2 weeks and let Igor play the 2 games right before the playoffs. Give him a vacation, 2 games before playoffs. He gets a warm-up, 2 games, and then playoffs.
So this now brings upon the question of the day.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
And I put a poll up this morning, and we've had like 400 people vote in it already. I'll get the live results in a minute. I'll look at my phone. The Rangers, as of this morning, are 2 points behind Carolina for the number 1 spot in the division.
Wow.
They are 4 points ahead of Pittsburgh, who is in the 3 slot. And remember, the 2 slot plays the 3 slot. So if the playoffs start today, the Rangers would play Pittsburgh. Okay. Now, the winner of this division, so whoever wins and gets the 1 slot, which right now is Carolina, is going to play either Tampa or Boston. Okay. Would you, as a Ranger fan, would you rather in the first round, and I am not sitting here looking for bulletin board material. I'm not saying I want to play this team because this team is bad and blah, blah, blah. I just want to know, who would you rather play? I'm not saying it means you're going to win. Would you rather finish second and play Pittsburgh, or would you rather finish first and play Tampa or Boston? Now, to me, it's a no-brainer. Finishing second playing Pittsburgh. That is not to say, I want to say it again, that it means that the Rangers are going to run all over Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh's not good. I'm not saying that at all. But would I rather play Tampa, who's won the last 2 cups, or Boston, who scares me with their playoff experience, or Pittsburgh? I'd rather play Pittsburgh. So we posed this question this morning at 8 o'clock this morning. We have had 383 votes so far. 86% of the people agree with me, and they would rather play Pittsburgh. And 14% say, and I'm not sure why, they would rather play Tampa or Boston.
Interesting. Bless you.
Thank you. So if you're the Rangers and you finish second and you don't catch Carolina, and Carolina has an easier schedule, they have some games at hand, although they do play head to head twice in Madison Square Garden in the next 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that winning the division is of the utmost importance to me right now. I'm fine if they finish second and played Pittsburgh
Mm-hmm.
and they avoided playing Tampa or Boston in the first round. I don't have a problem with that. I'm
And
not losing sleep.
and having your backup goalie in is not guaranteeing a loss. You just won last night.
Correct. And I think what they need to do, and this was a question that someone submitted, and I wasn't going to do it, but you just kind of did it for me. So we're gonna figure this out. If you look at the schedule to try and determine who plays the remaining games, you have Pittsburgh tomorrow night. Igor Shesterkin will play that game. They have Ottawa at home on Saturday. I would assume that's Gorgiev. They have Carolina again. It's an important game. The Rangers are going to play to win the division. Shesterkin is playing on Tuesday. And it also leads to a back-to-back where Gorgiev will play Wednesday in Philly. The Red Wings are in on Saturday. That will be Shesterkin. They will probably go to Gorgiev at home versus Winnipeg. They will then go back to Shesterkin on the road against the Islanders. They'll go with Shesterkin up in Boston. They'll go with Shesterkin at home versus Carolina. Now, those 3 games where I just had Shesterkin playing 3 in a row are over 6 days. So they're not back-to-backs.
All right.
And Gorgiev will play the Wednesday game, the second to last game of the season at home versus Montreal. And then Shesterkin will finish the last night again.
3 games.
Is that all I gave him? No.
You gave him 3 games.
No, I gave him the Canadian game, the Senator game, the Flyer game, and the Jets game. I gave him 4 of how many games?
I would even give him he's playing Carolina twice in a row.
They don't play him twice in a
back
row.
To back.
They don't play. They play him on the 12th and the 26th. Both.
I would split him.
Well, here's why he's not going to, because when they play Carolina the 26th, they play Carolina Montreal the next night. So one of them is going to play Carolina. One of them is going to play Montreal, who's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgiev is going to play Montreal. That one is set. And then if you look at Tuesday, same thing. You have Carolina on Tuesday, Philadelphia on Wednesday. It's going to be 1-1. You're not going to play Shesterkin against the Flyers and Gorgiev against the Hurricanes. Although, I'm going to go back on that. Gorgiev just had a 40-something save shutout against Carolina. So maybe they have some stock in that. I don't know. But my guess is that I am right on that Shesterkin's going to play both those Carolina games. I would be shocked if I'm wrong, because they both of them involve a back-to-back the next night versus a weaker team.
What do you got? 8 games left?
So they have a total of 11 left, and I have Gorgiev playing 4.
I would rest them as much as possible.
Now, look, they could, okay, they may say that Red Wing game on the 16th, but the thing is I have Gorgiev playing the 2 games in between, so I don't think so. You know what? Maybe, okay, I go back on this. Here's where I'm wrong. Gorgiev will either play the game 21st against the Islanders, or he will play 2 days later against Boston in Boston. Probably the Islander game. Now, the Rangers may look at it, and they shouldn't do this, and say, well, we've lost to the Islanders twice in the last 3 weeks. We need to win that game for whatever reason. But Gerard Gallant's not going to sit there and go on pride and pick his decisions based on that. But
it depends how he feels. If he's feeling healthy, feeling good, all right. If he needs to rest and recover, let him rest and recover.
So yeah, it'll be interesting here to see what they do going forward. They have 11 games left. You know, they're going to make the playoffs, which is going to mean we're going to be very busy here in May. Hopefully through June and the Stanley Cup. I mean, right? Knock on that wood that you want to knock on over there. I see you. So we're going to go around the league to wrap up the show today. We're going to look at some other conferences and because we talk a lot about the Rangers. So in the Eastern Conference and the Atlantic Division, Florida Panthers it's a really good story, and it was really kind of like a little sour thing in the middle of it. The Florida Panthers now are leading the Eastern Conference. They're actually only 2 points out of having the best record in the entire league. They are 49-15. They are a young team. They are a fast team. They play with a lot of speed. And, you know, they started the season undefeated, and then they had this whole thing go on with the Chicago Blackhawks sexual misconduct, where their coach, Joel Quenneville, used to coach and was involved and resigned from the team. And, you know, you think with a young team and they were playing so well that something like that would have an effect on them or would their play? It really hasn't, which has kind of been impressive. So they're 49-15. Right now, the way the Eastern Conference looks as a whole, and again, things change here all the time, but you have the Rangers playing Pittsburgh in round 1. You have Carolina playing Boston in round 1, and Florida would get Washington. So it's almost, Florida certainly looks to me that they're going to be the number 1 seed, and Washington looks like they're going to be the lower wild card. So the most likely scenario of all to stay the way it is Florida playing Washington in the first round. And you know what? They've played 3 times in the regular season. Granted, they've all, for some reason, were in November. Every game was a 1-goal game. I would like Florida in that series, though. It would be hard to go against them.
Didn't the Devils just lose to Florida by 1? It was like 7-6.
Yes. Can we
like
talk about that
overtime?
other game the other day? So the other
'Cause they're
day,
the best. They're apparently the best team in the league, right?
the other day, Saturday afternoon, I didn't know the Devils were playing. I know I can.
All right. We don't need that
I can
many
name-
backhanded.
No. I wouldn't know anyway. I know when the Rangers play, of course. I get the Devils had what, a 6-2 lead in the third and lost 7-6 in overtime.
It just happened again with the Leafs and the Panthers.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, so all right. So if you're the Devils, and we'll say one thing, we've said this a lot about the Devils, but Lindy Ruff has had a really good coaching career. He was up in Buffalo forever.
Mm-hmm.
Really had that team in the heyday of Hasek and making the Stanley Cup Finals with the Brett Hull goal in overtime in 1999. It was.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a great career. If there's one coach in the league that you would bet on is not coaching their team next year, it's Lindy Ruff. I mean, and that's all you need to see when you have a 4-goal lead at home. I don't care who you're playing. I don't care how bad your team is. You have a 4-goal lead, right? You can go into defensive mode and you have 4 goals as a mulligan to give up.
Yeah.
Dump the puck, just ice the puck, whatever it is, get out of there with 2 points.
Yeah.
How you lose a game with a 4-goal lead, like if that happened to the Rangers, that's the sort of stupid stuff that I would lose sleep over. So, yeah, I don't know, but Florida has certainly earned everything that they've gotten, all the accolades so far this season. In the West, there's 2 teams. Colorado now leads the league in points at 106, and I'm not sold on them. I'm not sold on their playoff goaltending. They're 8-1-1 in the last 10 games, but the West is really interesting in the sense that there are some really good races right now. So you have the last wild card race right now. Vegas is out by a point behind Dallas, but Nashville is up on Dallas by a point. So you actually have 3 teams fighting for 2 spots, one with 84 points, one with 83, one with 82. That would be Nashville, Dallas, and Vegas. If I was Colorado, because Colorado is going to get whoever makes it in the second wild card, which as of the moment is Dallas, I would not want it to be Vegas. I'm not saying Vegas would beat Colorado, but if I had my choice of those 3 teams as to which I wouldn't want to play, I would not want to play Vegas.
I agree.
Right? Vegas is not. Yeah. I like Peter DeBoer, the coach there. They do have some people who have been in long playoff runs versus if I could play Dallas. Dallas seems, and that's where I was last week for work. And by the way, I should show you a video. I was in the Dallas airport, like taking the rental car bus back to the terminal last week. And there's people in Devils stuff on the, I don't understand. Devils weren't playing down there. It was just random, totally bizarre. Dallas seems to be living on this hangover of making the Stanley Cup in the bubble, a year and a half ago, which was a great story, but they really haven't been great since. If I'm Colorado, I would rather play Dallas. I wouldn't even want to play Nashville. I'd want to play Dallas. So if you're them, I would leave it as where it is right now. So around the league, if you look at the current matchups, there would be some really good matchups. The Rangers and Pittsburgh, obviously we're a little biased here, is a really good matchup. Toronto and Tampa in the East would be a great matchup. Whoever Toronto plays actually is a great matchup because the storyline is on Toronto to get out of the first round, and they never do. So, and if they had to do it against Tampa, who's won the last 2 Stanley Cups, that is a big task. But the way that Austin Matthews is playing, and I believe he had a hat trick the other night against Tampa, if I'm not mistaken, he's been on fire. And Carolina, Boston would be a good matchup also. I mean, I would like Carolina in that series, but you know what? Whoever loses that series could definitely go on and make a run. So you're getting rid of someone. And then you look at the West, you'd have Calgary and Nashville we just talked about. Edmonton. Edmonton is another great story. It doesn't matter who they play. It's going to be a hugely watched series for Connor McDavid to get out of the, advance that team. So we'll have some good playoff hockey in a couple weeks.
Exciting.
Now the East is all set because the 8 playoff teams. It's Florida, Washington, Toronto, Tampa, Carolina, Boston, the Rangers, and Pittsburgh. In the West, you've got that situation with Vegas trailing behind a point. And
Mhm.
hockey, if you can get to the last 2 weeks of the season, so that would be 2 weeks from now. If we can get there and have like a playoff race like that in the West where it's that close, it's awesome. It's great.
So, and are these all back to, so I know during COVID we had special divisions. Are we back to normal divisions now?
Yes, we are back to normal divisions. Normal rules apply.
Nice.
So,
Speaking of rules, if you want to touch base on it, they are looking into changing the overtime rules for the NFL.
I did see that, which is now I saw being nicknamed the Josh Allen rule because
Really?
but they're only changing it though, and I'm fine with this for the playoffs. It wouldn't apply in
Sure.
regular season, and I think it's fair. We'll talk about
Yeah.
this as football comes back in a couple months, but it is to me fair, right? The Bills, and I kind of closet rooted for them this year.
Absolutely.
They lost that game. Well, I shouldn't say they lost because of the coin toss. They had plenty of chances in regulation that they should have won. But overtime speaking, they didn't get a chance. And you knew, right? I mean, everyone knew that when you saw Kansas City, who had already scored, 37 points or something that game already, and scored 20 points in the last 10 minutes, that all they had to do was go down the field and get a field goal with Butker as their kicker. They were gonna win. So I like it. I hope they make the change for the overtime. But I have to say, I'm actually okay with it not applying in the regular season. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't care about the regular season, but when the Super Bowl's on the line.
Notice how he stopped. He was about to say his team, and then he realized the Jets
There's
will
no
never
shot.
be there.
Yeah.
So he stopped. He was about to say my team.
If I'm invested in watching this game in the playoffs, now they're doing the rule changes. I still don't agree with the rule changes. If it's a playoff game, you keep resetting the clock. It's tied. They play another 15 minutes. It's tied. They play another 15 minutes. Like, let them play. Eventually, someone will get tired. Eventually, someone will make a mistake. It's the playoffs. The best team should win, not a coin toss, nothing. You want to do that BS in the regular season? Be my guest. But when it comes down to winning a trophy, may the best team win.
Fair points. I can't get on you. So it does sound like they will make that change. So thank you for tuning in today. As always, we appreciate it. And I hope I got almost, well, I didn't get to every question, but I condensed a lot of them. And so I appreciate you guys sending them in. We do try to get them on. You can send them in, as I mentioned before, to mypbshow@gmail.com. And you can also send them to us on our Instagram page, wherever you'd like. You got plenty of different ways to get in touch with us if you would like to.
Mm-hmm.
We thank the Bamboozle Project, as always, for sponsoring today's podcast. And you can see the website across the screen. That is thebamboozleproject.com. That is all one word. Bunch of great people over there.
Yes.
And Summer Swag is coming soon.
Summer swag.
Although
bathing suits with just face on them.
No. Although you wouldn't know that summer's coming soon with the weather today.
True. But don't let that rainy day cloud your judgment. Use the promo code MYPB, 25% off.
So good. He's so good. Yeah, he even never sees. What a smooth transition.
Thank you.
Doggy Sticks. I got to tell you, you write the book. You really do. So thanks for tuning in. Next week we are Tuesday, right? We're back on our regular time slot.
Sounds good to me.
I believe we're back on Tuesday. Rangers this weekend, big one tomorrow night at home versus Pittsburgh. They'll be home against Ottawa on Saturday night. It is not often that the Rangers, just so you know, and it's frustrating as a fan, have Saturday night home games because they usually give like the Knicks higher priority. So when you look and you see like a Saturday night home game at the Garden, it's actually kind of cool.
You gonna go?
I did. Okay, so I debated it.
Yeah.
My son was smart and saw it on the said the same thing. Like, look, I
don't got to go to bed.
I don't have to go to bed. I can go to it. But I believe that him and my wife are not around that night. They have to go to a dinner for my wife's friend's birthday.
Oh.
So I would rather, at this point in the season, at April 6th, if I'm going to spend time at the Garden, I'd rather wait for the playoffs and use my playoff tickets.
Okay.
Than go to like an Ottawa game on a Saturday night. Although, back in the day, before kids, Saturday night games at the Garden were great to go to because you would go out, you'd have some drinks in the city, you'd have a nice dinner, and you go to a game. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But at this point, like where I have limited time to get in the city with my schedule, I'd rather try and wait for the playoffs.
Or all your ticket? Did you already get rid of most of your tickets?
And I haven't gotten rid of any because the schedule isn't really out yet. So
maybe
you can
Undefeated Media will scoop them up.
Maybe they will. We'll take a road trip.
But you got to come with us if we go.
So I was just giving you my tickets. I couldn't even go. That was nice.
No, we're gonna buy the tickets, but like if you're part of the package.
Oh, I am good.
Yeah,
Package of my own tickets that I pay for. Which, by the way,
we don't want to go without you. We don't know where to go.
How do I
get in?
By the way, leave it to Madison Square Garden
Yeah.
today before we went live to
Yeah.
send an email to remind me that renewals for next season are out. They came out in beginning of March, which is ridiculous because you
Yeah.
have to pay for the following season while the season's still going on.
Mm-hmm.
And now my rep put in the thing this morning. If you enter by April 8th, which is Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will be entered to win free season tickets for next year.
Wow.
I'm not sure that they give away free season tickets or this is like
They maybe give out 4.
right. They're
You know what
not
I
giving
mean?
out
Like enter to win season
25
tickets. Yeah.
they're not giving out $25,000 of free season tickets. Or if they're giving out free season tickets, it's like a 1-seat deal on like the top on the roof.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can sit in section 416, row 5.
Get them in early and you might get 1 seat in the nosebleed.
Right. Which I never win anyway. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate the listenership as always. Let's go Rangers and have a good week.